Greetings, AIS 119. Welcome back, everybody. As we say in Oneida, Sagoli, Nadioliwis, Skanagoga, Skanago means greetings. Are you with peace? I am with peace. So I just want to say bienvenidos, welcome in Espanol, welcome everybody. Welcome in bienvenue, welcome in German. It's just really happy to have you all here today. You all are human beings who are worthy of love. Welcome to another week of class. You all have been doing so phenomenal so far. We got 38 people total in the class, and I just want to say I really appreciate each and every one of you. I know everybody so far have given me their intro, which is excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. I think we're just waiting on, I think, one more person for the week one more person for week two, two more for week three, four more for week four. So if you haven't done those yet, be sure to do those. If you miss more than 3 weeks, you're automatically going to drop a lower level grade. If you don't do four, automatically you're going to, if you miss 4 or more weeks, then you're automatically going to fail the class. But I know you can do it. I believe in each and every one of you. I'm loving all the responses so far. And again, all your responsibility is to respond and then read up to 3 or more responses from one of your classmates as well too. So you can always look at different people's, but as we say in Oneida, let's put our minds together, so be it in our minds. Loving what I'm learning so far from all the discussions. Thank you all so much. So just a quick overview of where we're going this week so far. We're going to talk about this article here by Victor Rodriguez Dominguez from 2005, The Racialization of Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans, 1890s and 1930s. You know, there's 35 countries that comprise the Americas, North and South America and the islands surrounding us. So a lot of different histories and cultures and different stories of people, how they came to this spot specifically where we're at, what we call today the United States, or here, California, Southern California. So many different stories that we're going to be looking at. So this one article will look specifically at the Mexican American, the Puerto Rican American experience as well too, but we're looking at a lot of different stories as well too. So you're going to be watching these videos this week and responding. So this first one is powerful in looking at a lot of different unrest in different countries and what led to that unrest. And oftentimes for different Latin American countries, Central American countries, it was the United States interference, whether it be for sugar or for other products in terms of being able to make money off these things. And if they could overthrow the governments and put in their own government to be able to work and kind of basically exploit in a form of settler colonialism. So you'll see what led to civil unrest, what led to sometimes civil war, which would lead people to oftentimes migrate to a safer life, which would be here in the United States. As the Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, give me your oppressed, give me your weak. We have this American dream. You know, why does it seem like it's sometimes an American nightmare for some, but when we designed it to be an American dream for all, right? For all peoples that want a better life. So we're looking at that. You're gonna look at a number of different countries in Central America, Latin America, how they came to where they are now. So be sure to watch that. A number of other videos as well too, in terms of historically. We're looking at some other videos as well too, in terms of different leaders as well too. So we're gonna look at some really heavy things as well too, and looking at these things like the Zoot Suit riots, things that happen in terms of how these Latinx Americans were targeted during this certain time in history as well too. You'll learn more about it. The dark history of the gasoline baths, which were a thing as well too, when different people who were trying to cross the border, Mexican Americans, were having to go through these gasoline baths for a period of history here. You're going to be learning about different leaders like Dolores Huerta, who coined the term "Si se puede," yes we can. You're learning about Cesar Chavez. You're learning about Ellen Ochoa, the first female Hispanic American in space as well too, and looking at Sonia Sotomayor, who was the first Hispanic American, the first Latinx person to be appointed to the Supreme Court. So that's just one of those milestones in history as well. So that's where we are this week. I'm going to go quickly over the article as well, and that's going to be today, people. We got a lot of things to watch, so I want you all to take it seriously, to acknowledge, educate, and honor as we learn about other people's history, the same way that you want to learn about people to learn about your history. If this is your history, I'm doing my best to acknowledge, educate, and honor. I don't pretend to be the expert here as I'm learning alongside you as well, but I know there's I have many different friends and colleagues who I'm learning from as well too as we're doing this. And one of my favorite classes I ever took was AIS 319. So it was this class taught by 4 different professors from these different ethnicities that we're talking about here. So with that being said, grateful to be here with you all. Looking at the abstract here, as again, the articles are pretty long, whenever possible. If you don't get a chance to read the whole thing, definitely do read the abstract and the conclusion as well too, and read some of the headings and the ideas to get a chance. Do watch the videos for sure, but for the readings, I know they can be a little bit thick and long, but at the same time, you're just gonna get what you put into it in terms of how much you read or what the effort you're putting forth. So let's see here, the abstract. The article describes the basic processes of racialization. The paper begins by analyzing how Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans were racialized during the first decades of the 20th century. This was a significant time when the ideologies of scientific racism and imperialism became part of the popular culture. It was also a time when Puerto Ricans and Mexicans were being colonized, both in their nations of origin and in their diasporic homelands, the places where they migrated to. While there is some significant descriptive work on contemporary racialization in the Chicano and Boricua experience, meaning Mexican American and Puerto Rican American experience, very little comparative and theoretical understanding supports these efforts. By looking at the patterns that emerge in the process of subordinating, controlling, and classifying Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans, we gain a perspective on the role of colonialism, both internal and external, as well as the role of class and gender and racialization, and we began to create the basis for a theoretically grounded perspective on racialization. So here, when you look at this article, a lot of really tough to read as well too, but really important to acknowledge, educate, and honor, and look at where we've come as a country in our history, as a country that does not know its history, has no future. And it's looking as well too about how people are racialized, particularly Mexican Americans, Puerto Ricans coming out of this country. And what it will say here is that government officials and that journalists and different media throughout this period of 1890s and 1930s, on one hand, they'll be arguing that these Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans, that the journalists are saying that these people are lazy. And on the other hand, they're saying if you need a workforce to get something done and you need to get it done cheaply and effectively and efficiently, then you should also hire Mexican Americans and Puerto Ricans. So really contradicting themselves in almost in the same breath, but important to look at that about how people were exploited for their labor and also dehumanized and how they were treated. So it is, there was some other examples right here as well too, in terms of the American Federation of Labor and the Japanese Mexican Labor Association. So looking at this cross-cultural, this solidarity here that happens, and it talks about some of the reasons why this struggle, kind of why they were successful in their efforts as well. And there's particularly one article here, one quote here I wanted y'all to see. This is from George Clements, the director of the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. And so really a racialized statement here that's racialized this social construct of trying to put a hierarchy of saying that one people are better than others. So you can see it clearly here, this person saying, well, they all have Negro blood in their veins. The greater part of them are without those physical markings, which can only protect society. They are redheaded, freckle-faced, thin-lipped Negro hybrids with the vicious qualities of their progenitors. So this is recognizing from around the 1920s or so. So about a century ago, yet still just some, just those racist sentiments and how those can get passed down, and like an ugly game of telephone throughout the generations as well too. And this kind of intergenerational colonialism, intergenerational inherited racism that I've that you can see throughout when you kind of connect the dots through these different things. So that being said, it finishes here for Boricuas as well as Chicanos. The challenge today will be learning how to resist racialization in light of the increasing economic polarization within both communities. The large growing middle class and upper middle class in both communities have less and less contact with the working class majorities. It is the working class segments of both communities, those groups that are being racialized more intensely, that constitute the majority among the Latino population of the United States. Any anti-racist agenda in the United States and Puerto Rico will most likely include a clear linking of class, race, and gender if the dismantling of white supremacy and racism in the United States is to be successful. So that's the article for this week, people. I want you all to watch the videos and want you all to include your own experiences, your own knowledge as well too. As this class is whatever we put together, you all are the co-collaborators in this class as well too. So invitation, not an obligation. So we learned about some heavy material, still important to take care of self-care as well too. We fill up our love cups so we can pour love into others, as my grandmother tells me, an elder in the Oneida Nation. So sit up nice and tall, breathe in some love, exhale some love. Gracias, Yawanko. Thank you, appreciate you so much. Go drop Makagat, thanks in Irish. Yes, you are a human being who is worthy of love. We'll see you all for next week. So put all your responses, make sure to read up to 3 other people as well too. Do reach out to me if you have any questions. You can always come to office hours as well too, 11:10 to 12:10 on Tuesdays with the link in the syllabus. All right, people, that's it. Yawanko, thank you. I love you. Until next time in Oneida. Thanks, everybody. Y'all are amazing.